Hey everybody, it's that time. Time for your poem of the week. Coming to you this time live from Las Vegas, Nevada. Here, here, fun Vegas fact. Las Vegas has the most efficient urban water system in the world. So tell me a story. Tell me a story, Chandler. Don't forget to share it. We are indeed here in Vegas on a peacock farm. Well, you couldn't tell it by this view. I've had to go into the parking lot. In the parking lot of a Celtic festival. That's where we had to go. Because of all the people practicing their bagpipes and all the people, all the Irish music festivals and all that kind of stuff, music going. Thanks for gathering around. It seems appropriate to do this at a Celtic festival because we are going to do an Irish poem. And as I mentioned, we're going to have a very special guest here. I first became aware of this poem when Anne Feeney sang it as a song. It was written at a time when Irish people could not speak out against the British government. And I think about Russian artists today who cannot speak out against their currently tyrannical government, and not only Russians in Russia but living abroad and here in the United States who are genuinely afraid to speak out. But artists always find a way to speak out. Speaking of artists, we are listening to Pete Weiss and the Weisternauts. Thank you so much for gathering around. I really appreciate it. Show me some love. Show me some love. I don't have a mirror today, but show me some love. It will come back to you in infinity, and don't hit the anger button, because that too will come back to you in infinity. Yes, we were talking about being afraid to speak out. And when artists are suppressed like they are currently being in Russia, they will always find a way to speak out, even if they have to do so anonymously or in code. And to be honest, even here in the United States, I'm occasionally afraid to speak out. I am in Nevada, and although I am in Las Vegas, Nevada is one of the most conservative states in the country. Parked next to me is a car with a bumper sticker that's proudly boasting of how it follows QAnon, all kinds of Trumpland world, and people coming up to the booth saying unbelievable things just right in public, assuming that you will agree with him. It's a very different world out here in the wilds of Wyoming. But yeah, I had to, more about why I'm at a Celtic festival after the poem of the week. After the poem, I hope you will stick around for your moment of spin. But let's get right to it. As I said, I am a little afraid to speak out, so I'm going to do something As I said, we have a very special guest from an undisclosed location. We will call her Irina.
Hello everyone. Hi Chris. And thank you for inviting me to be a part of the poem of the week.
Thank you.
During these very, very trying times. I would like to read a poem by Collum Sands that I translated into Russian.
And I will provide the English.
Bringing back the best tradition of the Aesopian language. Что бы вы ни говорили, лучше промолчите. Сами знаете о чем. Вы же понимаете, кто вас слышит и что с вами будет потом. Вы же знаете, куда вы попадете, неизвестно на какой срок. Так пусть ни одна душа не услышит, как вы читаете этот стишок.
Whatever you do, say nothing. When you talk about you know what, because if you know who could hear you, you know what you'd get. They would send you off to you know where for who could say how long. So whatever you do, don't let anybody hear you singing this song.
Вы же все прекрасно знаете, о чем я говорю, когда упоминаю то самое. Да и намек на это самое отнюдь не безопасен. Ведь кое-кто всегда начеку, они не спят. И хоть их не видно, не слышно, денно и нощно бдят. Если кто-нибудь спросит вас, откуда вы знаете, что ни слова обо мне, молчок, а то, а то, а то.
And you know, all know what I'm speaking of when I mention you know what. And I feel that it's very dangerous to even mention that, because the other ones are always near, although you may not see. And if anybody asks you, who told you that? Please don't mention me.
Вы знаете, на кого я намекаю, когда говорю кое о ком. И знаете, кто нас слышит и что будет с нами потом. Так что если вы завтра меня не найдете, то поймете, что стало со мной. И если вас спросят, а где же она, то лучше пройти стороной.
And you all know who I'm speaking of when I mention you know who. And if you know who could hear you, you know what he'd do. He'd send you off to who knows where, for who could say how long. And if anyone asks you who told you that, please don't mention me.
Ну, впрочем, довольно об этих и тех, не говоря уже о всяких разных. И, пожалуй, я закончу этот чудный стих, ведь и так слишком много сказано. Чем меньше говорим, тем меньше мы слышны. И, может быть, в этот раз пронесет. Чем меньше думаем, тем меньше делаем мы. И тем чаще нам шепчут еще и еще. Что бы вы ни говорили, лучше промолчите, сами знаете о чем. Вы же понимаете, кто вас слышит и что с вами будет потом. Вы же знаете, куда вы попадете, неизвестно на какой срок. Так что пусть ни одна живая душа не услышит, как вы читаете этот стишок.
Well, that's enough about so-and-so, not to mention such and such. I think I'd better end this song right here because I've already said too much. For the less you say and the less you think, the less you hear, the less you say, the less you'll go astray. And the less you think and the less you do, the more you'll hear them say. Whatever you do, say nothing when you talk about you know what. Because if you know who could hear you, you know what you'd get. They'll send you off to you know where for who could say how long. So whatever you do, don't let anyone hear you singing this song.
Спасибо. Спасибо вам всем. Thank you for listening to me, and thank you, Chris, for your invitation.
You're welcome.
Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you so much to our special guest. We call her Irina. And there you have your poem of the week. But stick around for your moment of spin. Thank you guys so much for listening to me, and thanks for hanging around. I realize it's dark in this van, but you know, it's very... Well, I think what it was transpired here in this poem of the week is actually very real, and I realized we were doing it a little in jest there with my friend who's remaining anonymous, but there are actually are very real consequences for Russians, not only in Russia but living abroad and here in the United States, to speak out. And I think it's time for us as artists to help them do that and provide platforms for that. Yes, I am here at a Celtic festival. I am helping my friend Jen Deleth, my ex. This is her first festival since COVID, and and her first one without me. So I volunteered to fly from Texas to the Bay Area and drive her show here to Las Vegas and help her do her Celtic Show. I'm going to do a couple of more with her this season to get her up and started, because artists have had it really rough during the pandemic, and could not have survived without generous donations from people like you. And if you can help me at all, you can donate to paypal.com/baldchandler or at venmo.com/the Chris Chandler Show. It's time for your moment of spin. Hi Gene, how you doing? I can actually see people here watching now. Hi Kelly, how are you doing? Thanks for gathering around. I realize it's a little dark in here. Your moment of spin. Yes indeed. Upside down. Give me a number between 1 and 3. A number between 1 and 3. I know it takes about 15 seconds for me to ask you and for it to show up, so I'll just be patient. Give me a number between 1 and 3. Barbara says 3, which is actually not between 1 and 3, but that's a different story. Now, a number between 1 and 135. Hi, Bear, how you doing? Paul Trebek is here. CC, my initials. A number between 1 and 135, and we are going to quote from Open Your Hymnals, Observations from a 24-Hour Laundromat. Kelly says number 25. Ding, 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 ding. Kelly gets a winner. How could it be more appropriate? This is such fate. Oh my God. I am at a Celtic festival. I am indeed at a Celtic festival. And today's quote from the Chandler's Spin, your moment of spin, is: U2 is to Irish music what calling U2 Irish music is like calling James Brown Southern rock. How about that on your moment of spin? Thank you so much for gathering around. This has indeed been your poem of the week. Thank you to my anonymous special guest, who we are calling Irina.